My baby got me looking fresh. Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Sorry I missed last week. Just wanted to spend a little more time with this painting. It's a special painting. It's from a old family friend of ours named Brian. Brian's a really cool dude, and he asked me to paint him something, and he just spitfire a bunch of things that he was into and whatnot. So it's kind of a collaboration of a whole bunch of things. I thought in my head, I was like, you know, how can I put these things together? And then, you know, I thought of the idea of painting him and then having these things just popping out of his head. All the music is mine, and let's not hold you guys up anymore and get right into the video.
Alright guys, so for this painting I wanted to experiment with the grayscale. This is my first time ever working with just black and white and doing skin tones and all of that. So I thought it would be a little bit easier to work this way, but it turned out to be a challenge but also easier. I think I mentioned that in one of my talking head parts. I watched this YouTuber, what is the name of his channel? I think he's called like the Paint Coach, and he often talks about values and how important values are. And you know, I found a new appreciation for values with this painting, because it's like some parts are lighter, some parts are darker, and finding that in between for each part of the face and like and the structure and whatnot was interesting to see how to paint in black and white versus painting with color, because you really got to pay attention to those values because they can get away from you real quick and something can end up looking wonky. I'm sure I got quite a few things in this painting that look a little wonky, but I think it came out pretty good for my first attempt at black and white. I really like to keep working on my values, and especially when you're doing the portraits and whatnot. Like I did a painting of my baby, and like the values on it just kind of like, you know, messed with me the whole time, and working on this in grayscale kind of like put a few things in perspective. That's why I mean, like in some parts it's a little bit easier, but other parts it's hard, like, you know, finding those colors. But the values for some reason were easier for me to see. And now I really want to apply a lot of what I learned with this to some more like colors and start working more with warm and cool tones and stuff, because, you know, those values can be real fun to mess with too. I'm really excited to see where this leads. I'd love to work on more black and white stuff. So if anybody out there is listening or sees this, if you want a commission for some black and white, sign me up.
Alright guys, so right around this part, I'm just finishing up the end part of his face and moving into doing all of the things coming out of his head. This part was a lot of fun and a little bit like messed with me a little bit, because I was like, how realistic should I make it and all of these things. But doing the whole grayscale and whatnot, it was a double-edged sword, because it was a little bit easier as far as, you know, I don't have to worry about mixing colors as much, and you mixing the black and white. But I digress. It was a lot of fun just doing that part, and yeah.
So I wanted to take a little bit of time to thank everybody that already got t-shirts for the DIY festival coming up. I am so excited to showcase some of my art and whatnot, and I have lots of t-shirts already ordered, lots of t-shirts coming, and I'm just so excited to have you guys wear my art. I've never really thought about that. You know, I've always gotten my art on hoodies and stuff like that, you know, for myself or for my baby, but it's really cool to know that other people want to wear my art too. I think it's really cool. So I've got the Yoshi Gur joint. I've got that on a t-shirt now, and I have my favorite octopus. I put that on a t-shirt too. I really like the way that one looks. And of course I got the Huey joint. So those are my first 3 t-shirts out there. If you are interested in one, please leave a comment below, and I hope everybody listening can make it out to the DIY Fest. I think it's going to be a great time.
Alright guys, so around this part I'm working on the crest. Now I was conflicted between doing it hyper realistic and detailed and whatnot, or just keeping that kind of loose painting style that I used throughout this whole painting. I didn't want so much everything that looks like hyper realistic as I wanted it to look like a painting, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense. That makes sense, baby? Cool.
Alright guys, so we made it to the last part of the painting. Right now I am just wrapping up a lot of stuff, like I'm finishing the AKA, and then I'm gonna work on just some more detail and putting more layers on. I did about like 4 or 5 sessions with this painting with all the layers and whatnot. Then like this part right here, I am putting that bold white outline. I thought that it was really great to separate it, and also adding in those clouds and whatnot, and still touching stuff up, just, you know, getting that detail in. And yeah, there's also a few parts that I didn't record here at the end. I also added like these, like, I don't know, these crazy particle effects coming out of his head. You'll notice it in the glam footage, if that's what we're gonna call it, but in the end I show it, and I kind of wanted just some more, like, you know, to make it busier in the middle where all of these things were coming out of his head. And I think it came out pretty sweet. I got to use my like flick technique some more. The same thing that I did with Clinton Lars painting when I did the stars. I wanted it to have that effect of it bursting out of his head, all these ideas and interests and things he was that's on his mind, you know, the piece and all of that stuff. It felt good.
Alright guys, and with that, that's going to be another video done. Thank you so much, Brian, for this commission. I am so glad that you liked the painting that I did for the moms and wanted me to do something for you too. That meant the world to me, and I really spent a little bit of time on this one, and I really hope that you like it. Hopefully sometime soon we can do another feature episode like I did last week or the week before last. That was a whole lot of fun. Those 2 artists are so dope, and I'm still vibing off of that same frequency. Thanks so much for coming out. Peace, love, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next week for some more sweet stuff.